Have you ever wondered what might happen if the sun's poles were to reverse? It's not science fiction, but a real phenomenon that takes place approximately every 11 years. This event is part of what we call the sun's solar cycle, a rhythmic dance of magnetic fields and hot plasma. As the sun's internal dynamo churns away, it generates a magnetic field that extends from the sun's core to its surface. But here's the twist. Unlike Earth's steadfast north and south, the sun's magnetic poles flip, with north becoming south and vice versa. This inversion is a result of the complex movement of plasma within the sun, causing the magnetic field to reorganize itself. In essence, the sun experiences its own version of a magnetic spring cleaning. So the sun's poles do flip, but what does this mean for us on Earth? Let's delve into the potential consequences of the sun's poles reversing. During a solar pole reversal, the sun's magnetic field becomes more complex and dynamic. This leads to a surge in solar activity, including phenomena such as solar flares and coronal mass ejections, or CMEs. These events aren't just spectacular to observe, they have tangible effects on our planet. They can disrupt satellite communications, GPS systems, and even our power grids. Now, let's talk about Earth's magnetic field. This protective shield safeguards us from solar radiation and cosmic rays. However, when the sun's poles reverse, fluctuations in solar activity can temporarily weaken our magnetic shield. This could result in increased radiation exposure for satellites and astronauts in space. One of the more visible and awe-inspiring effects of solar pole reversal is the increase in auroras, or as you may know them, the northern and southern lights. These beautiful light shows are the result of charged particles from the sun interacting with Earth's atmosphere near the poles. While they pose no harm, they are a clear sign of heightened solar activity. But what about our technology? Yes, the increased solar activity during pole reversals can cause disruptions. It can interfere with satellite communications, GPS navigation, and power grids. This is why space agencies and utility companies often take precautions during these periods of increased solar activity. Lastly, let's touch on long-term climate effects. Some researchers propose that solar activity, including pole reversals, can influence Earth's climate patterns. The exact mechanisms and extent of these influences are still a topic of debate, but it's a possibility that we cannot ignore. These are significant consequences, but should we be alarmed? While we should respect the power and influence of these astronomical events, there's no need for immediate panic. Scientists and space agencies are actively monitoring solar activity and providing guidance to mitigate potential risks. It's crucial, though, to stay informed about space weather forecasts, particularly for those working in industries heavily reliant on satellite communications or power infrastructure. So, should you be worried about the sun's poles reversing? Now that's the question on everyone's minds. Well, let's put it this way. Yes, the sun's pole reversal comes with an increase in solar activity, which can have impacts on technology and space weather. But it's not a cause for immediate alarm. Why, you ask? Well, we're not alone in this. Scientists and space agencies around the globe are keeping a close eye on these solar activities. They provide timely warnings and guidance to help us navigate through these astronomical events. Think of it as a weather forecast, but for space. Just as meteorologists warn us about upcoming storms, space weather forecasts alert us about increased solar activity and potential geomagnetic storms. These forecasts are crucial for industries that rely heavily on satellite communications and power infrastructure. They allow for precautions to be taken to mitigate potential disruptions. For instance, satellite operators can put satellites into safe mode to protect the sensitive electronics on board. Power companies can also take measures to protect power grids from potential solar storm impacts. So, you see, we're not entirely at the mercy of the sun's whims. But it's not just about relying on scientists and agencies. Staying informed about space weather forecasts is also part of our responsibility, especially in today's world where our dependence on technology is higher than ever. Awareness can help us understand the situation better and prepare accordingly. Remember, knowledge is power. Understanding the sun's behavior and its impact on our planet can help us appreciate the cosmic dance we're a part of. It also reminds us of our place in the universe and the need to persevere and adapt in the face of such cosmic events. While the sun's pole reversal is a significant event, it's a natural part of the sun's cycle, and precautions can be taken to minimize its potential impacts. So, worry not. We've got this under control. Let's summarize what we've learned about the sun's poles reversing. Solar pole reversal is a natural phenomenon that occurs approximately every 11 years. This is a result of the sun's magnetic dynamo, which is generated by the movement of plasma within the sun, reorganizing itself. During this period, the magnetic poles of the sun flip, leading to a more complex and dynamic magnetic field. This period of pole reversal is associated with increased solar activity. We see more solar flares and coronal mass ejections, which are giant eruptions of electromagnetic radiation and particles from the sun's corona. These events can have impacts on Earth, affecting our satellite communications, GPS systems, and power grids. That said, these consequences are not without their beauty. The increased solar activity can lead to more frequent and intense auroras, those breathtaking displays of light that occur when charged particles from the sun interact with Earth's atmosphere near the poles. Moreover, the changes in the sun's magnetic field can influence our planet's magnetic field. While this provides us with protection against solar radiation and cosmic rays, the fluctuations during solar pole reversals can temporarily weaken this shield. This could potentially expose satellites and astronauts to increased radiation levels. There's also a proposed connection between solar activity and Earth's climate patterns. Although the exact mechanisms and extent of these connections are still debated, it's possible that changes in solar activity could influence global climate patterns over longer timescales. Should you be worried about it? Not at all. While these events can have impacts on technology and space weather, scientists and space agencies closely monitor solar activity. They provide warnings and guidance to mitigate potential risks, so there's no need for immediate alarm. However, staying informed about space weather forecasts is essential, especially for those working in industries that rely heavily on satellite communications or power infrastructure. Remember, while the sun's poles reversing is a fascinating event, with knowledge and preparation, there's no need to worry.